I love that song. Talk about me. Welcome back to the broadcast. So discussing just a moment ago about the proper way to confront a shooter, and we're talking specifically about children in school, also the staff in the school, the proper way to confront a shooter. And we're getting a lot of comments on Twitter and on Facebook right now, a lot of moms piping in saying, I teach my kids to run.
That's right. That's what I was talking about.
Susie.
That's what I was talking about.
Agreeing with Susie and Pat both saying that. I think the difference in the opinion was, you know, given the situation, if you're making a lot of noise, because you also said scream, and I think if you're screaming and you're calling attention to yourself, that might not be the best course of action if there's a shooter going down the halls, you know. But I do agree, if there's a way to get out, you know, run. Yeah,
it's like my son said, you take a chair and you throw it through the window, and if you need, and you get out of there.
But that's not realistic. Those windows aren't going to break from a little 5-year-old throwing a chair.
All right, let me say something to you. He drove me by a school. He showed me all of the windows that were at waist level. 2 kids could pick up a chair and bust a window. You don't just sit there and wait to be gunned down. You stand 0 chance with that.
I wonder if anyone's doing classes to teach kids, you know, how to
We should
do
be doing
like that.
And that's what I think. I think that you have to equip the kids with this much. It's like fire drills. Like, what do you do when there's a fire drill? What happens when there's a tornado or hurricane that hits the area? I think people need to start educating our kids on, if there is an intruder, what do we do? What is the safest thing to do? But I am sorry, I just cannot teach my little kids to go up against somebody who's holding a semi-automatic at them that's blasting up people in their school.
Yeah, which is a whole other subject, because I just don't think those should even be an option for anybody to have. And I know you and I have, we disagree a little bit on that.
About what?
And as someone that doesn't have
semi-automatic weapons.
Let me say something. If a guy brings in a semi-automatic, I hope there's somebody in the school that's also got a semi-automatic, so they can match him in the number of bullets and save some people.
Well, you don't need a semi-automatic to shoot one person. You can use a semi-automatic rifle to shoot multiple people.
If the guy has a semi-automatic, the only thing that's going to save you is as many bullets as he's got.
Or gun control laws that makes it so he can't have the semi-automatic.
The criminals always obey the gun control laws. They always do that.
Most of these shooters aren't actually criminals. They're crazy.
They're people that are,
which goes back to my topic yesterday,
which is
about
mental
illness. Yes,
that's right.
Mental health.
That's right.
Because we have so many people that are out here sick and that are not getting the help they need. We're missing it.
So maybe it's about the background checks, which it's more than just, you know, looking at their record if they have one and doing a Social Security check and all that kind of stuff. Maybe there needs to be home visits and mental illness evaluations and, you know, interviews with their family and their friends. Maybe the background checks need to be more, you know, more in depth like that.
How do you proceed to go to everybody that applies for a gun and go to their homes and interview their parents?
That's my point. It makes it a little bit more difficult. But the due diligence, I think, is worth it.
But Susie, you talk about teaching your son how to bang out a window and that you prepared him. Now, how did you teach your son about guns and about getting a gun and how to use a gun? And when's a gun? When is it appropriate to have a gun?
We've handled guns all our lives. I mean, that's it. That's our family.
Do you have a gun?
My father taught me to hunt when I was 7 years old. I learned to shoot. My son learned to shoot at 9, 10 years old. We were hunters. That's what we did. We never killed for trophy. We killed for food.
But how did you teach your son about that? Like when it's appropriate to bust out a gun?
Because he's been around guns ever since he was little.
So you taught him,
and he was taught the respect of the gun. He was also taught how to shoot. He was also taught all of that. We didn't hide it. So, you know, guns do not kill people. People
and I agree with you. I agree with you 100% about that. I really do. And I know that, like, Scott has a gun in the house, and it freaks me out. I don't.
No, learn to use it. Come on, Lisa.
Go
take some lessons. Go take some lessons.
I'm scared of
and learn how to protect yourself.
Yeah, you make a very valid point, and I agree. I agree.
But you know what? That's what we should all be doing.
You're familiar with guns. Hey, no, not. How about just one? If there's an intruder. How about you girls? Do you have guns in the house? Does Emmett have a gun?
You know what? We have a gun, and it's put away, but I've never seen it. I've never touched it.
They're scary. I took a class once, and they're scary. Like, even just holding it in my hand,
you know what's scary? If you can wear those 9-inch shoes.
Hey, I've got hairspray in my purse and some high heels. I can take care of someone with these. I don't need a gun.
But you know what? Again, and I know y'all are tired of me saying this. It's really like you said, Susie. It's not about the guns necessarily.
It's the people.
Now, the semi-automatic stuff, like for war, yeah, I got issues with that. But it's about the people, and we've got to get back to helping these people that are sick out here on the streets. I mean, luckily you had a son who wasn't ill. But imagine that son who had access to a gun if he had been sick and ill and did not have the help.
Let me tell you something.
Then we got a problem.
Then he would have taken a bomb and built it, because you can learn how to do that on the internet.
But do you make it easier for them?
You know what they'll do? They'll start building bombs. You're not going to get rid of people who are bad characters. You're not going to get rid of it.
But you can help minimize the problem if you go more intense background checks, and you limit the number of shots allowed in a magazine.
I don't think that's going to solve it. I don't think that's
those two things together. You don't think are going to make it.
Chicago. Look at their gun laws. Their crime is up so much. That's not stopping it. It's not stopping it.
It's stopping the multiple shootings of people. You know.
Remember an old Archie Bunker on All in the Family? Archie Bunker said, you remember all the skyjackings and hijackings? Archie Bunker said he knew the way to stop people from stealing airplanes and kidnapping people. But he said, when you board the plane, issue everybody a gun.
But we've got to go to break now. But do you agree, though, that times have changed and we can no longer sit back on our laurels about gun control? It's time to do something. It's time to change something. Whatever that something is, something needs to change.
Yeah,
can we agree on that?
It's not working.
We can agree on that.
We can.
Can we agree on that?
Wait a minute. The something that needs to change is get rid of the criminals.
Yes.
Okay. On that note,
thank you.
I'm going to have to transition us.
Together, let's all say amen.
I can say amen to that.